G'day everyone, I'm Smokescreen and welcome back to another video. And here we go with the next round of the FIA Manufactured Series, the exhibition season currently happening for the 2021 to 2022 Championship Series. Okay, so if we remember the last time out, we were driving the BMW Z4 at Sardinia Road Track C in reverse. And that was truly shocking because I can't drive the Z4, but that's not today's tumultuous tale. Today's tumultuous tale is regarding the tale of woe that ensued on the night where I was driving the BMW M4 Group 4 around Nürburgring Nordschleife. Just the Nordschleife, no GP section to worry about. But we start off the first slot here where we managed to actually scrape into top split, which means we're right at the back, and the racing wasn't that spectacular, so obviously fighting at the back of top split, you're fighting for about 150 points at max. So there's not really too much on offer here. There's not really too much to worry about as Tez cuts that corner, and I believe he gets a penalty qualifying ahead of as he does in his Viper. Yes, a 1 second penalty indeed to report of. So I'm going into this race fully expecting to be doing a second slot, and I wasn't really too worried about what may happen, which thankfully included this complete error right in front of Chupagetti. Yeah, just I grazed the grass and overcorrected. Damn it. So stupid. So a really rather muted reaction, let's say. Not too much to worry about. There's not too much riding on this, to be honest, because I knew I was going to be at the back, so you know, it's frustrating that I crashed because I wanted to do my best in top split in front of all the big boys. But we come in and do our pit stop at the end of lap 1, and I just have a similar moment. Just graze one tyre on the grass and overcorrect, and that's the end of that. For God's sake. Damn it. That's annoying. So it was quite important I got a clean lap then, because I pitted at the end of lap 1 for my one mandatory stop. Everyone else, or most of people, will pit at the end of lap 2 for their mandatory stop. No tyre change required, and no fuel addition required if you can save fuel good enough, which we can quite easily do in this M4. And unfortunately, because of at least our second crash, we come out behind of these pair out of the pit lane in 18th, and because you can't overtake, and because we were saving fuel, there's nothing I could do. I was really hemmed in to 18th, and that's all I could muster. Only 108 points. So, you know, a little bit disappointing there, but there's not really too much else I could have done about that, really. A couple of, well, I did have a rather big crash, didn't I? I probably could have done something about that. But the second crash probably didn't lose that much time, but either way, I'd really rather prefer to be getting some clean runs in these races. So we go in for the next slot, where I think we've been put in second split this time, so a couple more people entering this particular slot in total, which means that top split is filled up a little bit more, which means I've been bumped down into the top of the next split down, which is better for me in terms of points. First things first though, we're going to go through this slot quite in depth like we normally do. We have qualifying first up. So if you have a look on the time remaining there, we have about 13 minutes to do a 1 out lap and start the fast lap. I'm actually going to wait for the majority of the cars to completely drive away here, so I sat in the pits for a good 3 minutes or so there, just waiting for everyone else to go. That Honda wasn't budging, and I didn't want to, you know, leave myself too short a time, so I exit the pits with about 10 minutes to go, and the next car up the road is well through, is it Flugplatz? Is it Flugplatz there? He's down that sort of fast section coming up to the uphill left-hander over a crest into the sharp braking of Arenberg. Yeah, so it will be Flugplatz. But there we go. I've got no one in front of me, no one behind me. I'm in a pretty good position to get this lap done cleanly, which I really wanted to do here at Nürburgring Nordschleife. And this is the end of the out lap, so yes, we do the entire lap of the Nordschleife as the out lap, and we still have 3 minutes remaining. So it's just another advantage to having the tyre wear off for qualifying now. Obviously, we used to have tyre wear on for qualifying with the same multiplier as in the race, so normally any race at Nürburgring would literally just be crawling around the outlap as slow as possible to conserve the tyres, and it was a really painful 15-minute long affair sometimes if you're doing the full length of the track with the GP. But luckily, yes, in addition to the fuel, the tyre wear is now off, thank goodness. So even though you get you know, officially one flying lap in qualifying here, which we're looking at right now. I've fast forwarded the straightforward bits and I've left some of the hot spots, let's say, in to have a look. We actually get a very decent flugplatz there, keeping a minimum speed of about 211 kilometers an hour, which is actually very, very good. But yes, you officially get one flying lap. So you have to do your out lap, obviously, and then you also have to do the fast lap, but the time runs out about halfway through your fast lap. So you only get one fast lap in, but because the tyre wears off, you can actually push your out lap. You can actually have a test. You can have a bit of a warm-up if you like. You can warm up to your fast lap now, which is nice at the Nordschleife, because I find I tend to go better in the second lap of a stint than I do in the first lap, because I can get a feel from it for the first lap, and then I can use that to adjust my thinking and adjust my driving style for the second lap, which is the most important lap, obviously. I've also got my time delta on the bottom right hand side of your screen, so they're all the sector splits of the track in comparison to my car record, which says 702.5 at this point in time. I think that did improve to a 0.4 at some point in the evening, but at this particular time it was a 702.5, and we almost find 3/10 in that sector 4 alone. So yeah, just comparing, you know, I lost 2/10 in sector 2 and, you know, essentially half a tenth in sector 3, and we've made up 3/10 there, so we've got to be pretty close to even, probably just marginally down on the car record time there. And something I find about qualifying here at the Nordschleife is it's really more about actually just getting a clean lap in than it is to get a really, really quick lap. Some of the top guys here, which, you know, they're back in slot 1 in top split, the race you were just watching, they're going to be your really ultra fast guys. But in second split here, you're going to have a handful of people who crash on their qualifying lap, and you're going to have people that push too hard and make a mistake, which is very easy to do, especially because we're qualifying on the hard tyre. There's not too much grip here on offer. You have to be really careful with where you ride the curbs and how you touch the curbs and how you touch all the bumps and ride the bumps. You sort of have to know how each corner is profiled to know what the car's going to do as you traverse the corner. So there's not too much grip. It's very easy to make an error is essentially all I'm saying. So if you can just get a fast, clean lap in, you're probably going to qualify okay. And I mean, we can see some of the times there. 7 minutes 0.6 is the current fastest lap set by Leaker there, and some more people are heading across the line. You know, there's 703.7 by Corgi, 709.1 by GT Mag, another 03.5 by Labyrinth Kingdom. There's a 716.5 from Matsutaki. So that's going to be a lap where, unfortunately for Matsutaki, he's done an error. 705 by Capicong, 707, a couple of 707s by a couple more people there. So if we have a look on my time delta now, I found a 10th in sector 7, lost 3/10 in sector 8, and lost 2/10 in sector 9. So I'm going to say that's probably a 6/10 loss altogether, with the little bits of the tenths that I lost in sector 8 and 9. But let's see how we get on through here. Oh dear, it's made a bit of a hash of the Klein's carousel there, but still not too many intimidating lap times being set on the board there. 7:10, a 7:04, another 7:07. So they're not lightning quick. In top split, a lot of the guys are dipping into the 6 minutes, the 6-minute 59, 6-minute 58. I'm going to fast forward all the way down the straight. Lost a 10th in sector 10, found a tiny margin in sector 11, and we'll see as we head up through the last Tiergarten section, through the Horenrain section now, into the final turn. Got to make sure not to hit that inside barrier as it sticks right out at the apex. We're going to head up towards the line and find that we've set ourselves a 703.7, and it puts us ninth, so everyone else has done very well to set their time there. Okay, ninth. Not the best. It's all good. Good quali. I'm happy with that quali. Did the best I could. Overall, not too displeased about that one. I think my quickest quali of the day so far was about a 703.5. So the fact that I got a 703.7 there is not too bad at all. Unfortunately, a lot of people also did well, and it puts us ninth. But let's enjoy the Manufacturer Series introduction. Lovely as always, and we meet ourselves on the grid for a standing start at Nürburgring Nordschleife, a track that's pretty much as wide as 2 cars. And actually, you can see there, I think we're only using every 4th grid slot there. Really spaced out standing start here, and unfortunately for us, starting in 9th, we're actually starting back behind the final turn. So even though it's a standing start, we've still got an extra turn to navigate, so a bit of a limitation here. I suspect that if everyone started using the grid slots as intended, turn 1 would just be an absolute punt fest. So I can kind of understand why we're using not all of the grid slots available on the main straight, but a little bit of traction control, a little bit of extra traction control. In fact, traction control level 2, because we had that corner to navigate on the really, really cold racing hard tyres. I did not want to spin out at the start of this race. Okay, so, I was going to get into a bit of the strategy, but the Aston Martin driven by Hatsu up ahead has driven straight off the track at the opening of the race and given them dirty tyres and a half-second penalty. So, straight off the bat at the start of this race, I now had this Aston Martin in front of me making errors, which I didn't want. And because we're on the Nürburgring Nordschleife loop, just the Nordschleife, as we catch right up to the back of this V8 Vantage here, there's nowhere to overtake, so it's going to be really difficult to get past this Aston Martin, who I can immediately tell is already on the back foot, and I can't hang about too much, because who I've actually got FSR Corgi behind, a very, very quick driver, who I've managed to somehow qualify ahead of by some miracle of nature there. He is within my slipstream, so I have to be, I'm in a bit of a precarious position here. I've got to try and get past this V8 Vantage, who keeps making errors. I've got to make sure I don't get held up too much by the V8 Vantage, so that Corgi can have a bit of a shark bite at my position here. I've got to make sure I don't chew out all my fuel. I've got to make sure I don't crash, get caught out by the dirty air. There's a lot to go on here, and as we're going to head down this hill, I think I'll just put it I'll just leave it in fuel map 3 there. So that's the other big thing with this particular combination. 3 laps, and you have to make your fuel tank last the whole 3 laps. Or, well, you technically don't have to, because we do have a mandatory pit stop to do, but the quickest way around this race, especially in this BMW M4, which the reasons why we'll talk about in about 2 seconds time, it's definitely a lot quicker to save the fuel, and when you do your mandatory stop, skip the tyres and skip the refuel altogether, so you only have, I say only, it's only a 22-second stop if you don't take fuel or tyres. So Hatsu once again runs a little bit wide, heading through the Metzgersfeld left-hander, and then heading into here. I think, has he got dirty tyres again? Maybe he just about avoided it, only heading 2 wheels on the grass there. I have a little bit of a look down the inside there, just hoping to put him off a little bit, and I think all that's done is made me go wide on the exit, more so than it threw Hatsu off. I'm going to head down this triple right-hander. We get through there nicely that time, so that's where it all went wrong for me in the first race. As we head out here, Hatsu going a little bit wide on the exit of that left-hander, and then onto this straight here. He just gets on the power too early, gets sucked off onto the grass. Pretty sure he went full 4 wheels on the grass there, so he's losing even more time. This guy's making mistakes, and I'm stuck behind. I felt like I was really being limited by Hatsu here. You can see I catch right up to the back of his rear bumper as he runs wide on the exit of Bergwerk again, so he's going to have dirty tyres now, and I'm going for the side-by-side move down the straight. I've got a little bit of a straight here, maybe 30 or 40 seconds of straight line driving, or flat out driving at least. Going to make sure we can get through here cleanly side by side. There was a few left-handers in the straight now. There's a couple of right-handers coming up giving me the favour. I think I'm a little bit better in a straight line compared to that V8 Vantage. Even though the BMW is short shifting, I'm still able to get a load of power out of it, and that's why it's so good at fuel saving. The power curve, or the max power output, it has a very, very wide range, so you can short shift a lot and you still get the same amount of power out of the car. So that's why you can short shift a lot in this BMW and not lose too much speed, if any, at all. So definitely in the BMW, it's a lot quicker to go for the no refuel rather. So we get ahead of Hatsu there, and we managed to actually stay ahead throughout all those corners there. So Hatsu pulls off out of the racing line to serve that half-second penalty they got at the very, very start of the race, and we've been left and released. I perhaps should have maybe used a little bit more of my fuel to try and catch up into the slipstream of the pair up ahead, but I didn't think to do that at the time, so I just have to fuel map a little bit down the straight, whack on the right indicator, because I'm telling Corgi I'm actually going to enter into the pit lane at the end of this lap, and this is a really pivotal part of the race here, as Corgi actually wants to work together. I move back behind the pair up ahead, perhaps trying to pick up a couple of licks of slipstream as we head down into the Tiergarten braking zone for the final couple of corners. Down here, final braking point, Subaru hits the wall on the inside there, going side by side with the BMW, and then over to the right hand side into the pit lane. Really dodgy pit entry, of course, just in general, and then my rendition of it was also pretty dodgy, and I think we're just about okay on fuel. It's a little bit short on fuel at the moment, but with 3 laps of this race we've got 33% of fuel to use per lap. So no tyres, no fuel, just a straight pit stop. Corgi's followed me in and done the exact same. It perhaps would have been more beneficial for Corgi to in fact go at the extra lap and, you know, try and overcut me, because he's still going to be stuck behind through all of the Nordschleife loop now, as the yellow flag is out as we jump through this sort of garden section, I guess you could call it. And then we are revealed to see that Tom driving, I don't know what he's driving, it's a pretty stupid thing to say, trying to make out what he's driving, but I can't quite see it, but he's made a mistake nevertheless. So heading through here, we've done Arenberg, and I just wanted to work together with Corgi. I didn't want Corgi to go past me, because I knew that while we've done this early stop, all the cars up ahead of the road yet to stop, I'm hoping they sort of battle and interdangle with each other and lose time, bringing them closer and closer to us, losing a bit of time, so the gap between us right now gets shorter, which means that when they pit, they come out behind me. That's the idea of the undercut of what we're trying to go through there. But on the exit of the Adenauer Force chicane, we've managed to keep Corgi behind, and we skip all the way to the end of the lap, where we can not only see that Tom is now driving the Honda, or he was driving the Honda, he's also driven really wide on the exit of Galgenkopf, so we managed to go past the Honda there. Corgi's still behind us at this stage. Let's see if Corgi wants to work together. He does. A bump draft there, so I go up into the fuel maps there, flash the hazards to say thank you. Everyone else in the pit lane, this is the pivotal moment of the race here. We get to see exactly how this strategy has paid off. We're up into second so far. I think Lika Arias has not pitted, because they're 23 seconds in the lead right now on the exit of the pit lane. Look at that, 4th position. We just come out ahead of the Mazda that's pitted from way up the road, and because they've been fighting so much, we're now... Oh, that could not have worked out any better. We're now in the mix, and it's actually good, because Be My Baby got out just behind me. I was just able to get ahead of Be My Baby, who managed to get the pressure away from Corgi. And in fact, on the exit of Arenberg here, if we have a look behind, they actually disappeared, so they've had a bit of a coming together there. Well, that's the pressure gone from behind. So that gap behind now is just Hatsu, who's 1.7 seconds behind me. We know they're prone to a couple of errors, so hopefully that gap doesn't close there. Oh dear, we cut that quite a lot, don't we? That better not be a penalty. I certainly hope it's not a penalty, because that'll be a race-ruining penalty at that. But I think we get through here okay. Fuel map 4 all the way through those slow corners, because you just simply don't need the power. You may as well save the fuel. But yeah, we can see... That's for the race win, I think, because I don't think Lika Arias is pitted properly. So Hatsu's catching a little bit, and yes, that's right when I realised Lika has not pitted. How can they be 24 seconds up the road with also having done their pit stop? So this is the podium here. 1st, 2nd, 3rd and 4th essentially by the end, because if you don't do your mandatory stop, you get a 1-minute penalty at the end. Mansell Drift goes very wide on the fast right-hander after Courage Corner, so they're going to have dirty tyres, and as seen by the exit here, bit of oversteer by the Ferrari there, and I think I was flashing my headlights at this point, because he flashed his hazards in return. I wanted to get past him, and then I brake a little bit too late and sent it down the inside by accident. The Ferrari not quite having the grip to fend me off there, so a bit of a strong move. Sorry. He flashing his headlights at me. Yeah, that probably was quite a strong move, wasn't it? But you know, I guess I can't really justify that, can I? All I can say is he had dirty tyres, and that was probably my only place to go for the move around the Nordschleife while he had dirty tyres, so I just had to sort of send it. Yeah, not the cleanest move from me there. It's all going so well up until here. You might want to sit down for this.
You might want to sit down for this.
Oh no! You idiot! No! F***'s sake! I was absolutely furious with myself. Stupid mistake. I've gone and ruined the whole thing. That was podium in the bag. Hatsu crashed there too, so that would have been pressure release from behind, and I just get shuffled off the track here by the Mazda there, so I lose even more positions as well, so it's pretty painful, isn't it? Yeah, I was absolutely seeing red. I get another punt into Galgenkopf and I get pushed off the track again for a third time. Well, that's for the pushed off for the second time, off the track for the third time. Oh, I don't know, the Porsche drives past me, I'm saving fuel, and by the end, it's 15th. Or Leica Arias has a penalty, so it's going to be 14th. That's 280 points gone. That's the one that got away. It just slipped through my fingers. I'm absolutely gutted. I'm absolutely gutted.
Yeah, obviously gutting, to be honest. Yeah, I don't really know what to say.
I wasn't going to let that get me down. I mean, I already had been just absolutely shocked. Just absolutely, my world was just rocked from losing that result. That was just, that is the most painful moment that I've ever had. The most painful moment of my GT Sport career. That is the one. That was the race that got away. That was 280, 290 points for the top of that race. For the podium, I probably would have had, I think I probably could have got fourth. I mean, I was in position for third, but, you know, I may have lost a position down the straight. But fourth, I think that was 280 points, and it's just gone. Just gone. Just like that. One little mistake. I did a Nick Percat at Darwin. I just hung on the throttle too much. Just didn't lift off the throttle 100% in the braking, or just leading up to the braking. Just I left a tiny bit of throttle on down the dip, carried an extra K an hour, extra kilometre an hour, and that's it. The car can't do it. The car couldn't do it. I exceeded the limit, and that's it. So I got to learn from it. You know, I've got to really bounce back. I got to try and bounce back, because yeah, I was absolutely devastated. I was just wrecked, devastating, gutted are the words that come to mind. But this is the slot after. I thought, okay, I'm going to later slot, just get some points. You know, I'm never going to be able to replicate that race and try and bring home a result like that race was going to bring. But, you know, if I can at least get something a bit better than the 130 or whatever, that would be okay. So this is the qualifying lap for the session, and yes, it's still in black and white because that's very much how I was seeing things at this point in the night, so tried to translate that into the video, I guess. Might as well have some description of fun with the editing. But yeah, the qualifying lap's actually going okay. The fastest lap there is a 7:02.6 driven by D Hong, so I think we will begin to see some of the sector splits come up now. I think I was actually purple on the lap there. Just getting a little bit of a mistake at the Klein's carousel, but you know, the lap's going okay so far. It's at least as good as the lap I did just before, if not even better, because if you have a look at some of the sector splits there, I'm only marginally down on a couple of them that you can see there, although I'm 3/10 down there in sector 10, but we're coming down the end towards Tiergarten. We're going to see what this qualifying lap is. This is second slot, the fourth slot of the night at about midnight, 7:03.3, fastest lap of the day, and we're in third. Okay, so this is a decent position here, and we're getting ready to start the race. And then this happens. Oh. It's just... I've got no words. I can't even begin to fathom the night that I just experienced. That was just shocking. There's nothing to debrief. I'm going to end the video here. So I do thank you very much for watching. See you later.